enjoying meditation on the one self of all. I am like a leaf, a part of the tree. I am a part of the great universe. I am a spiritual farmer, finding truth beyond time and space. When winter comes, I turn within myself. We are recording from the ashram of our revered Guru, Pujya Atman, Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda in Miami, Florida. Today is June the 2nd, 16th, 2020, Tuesday evening, and tonight Swamiji will be lecturing on the Yoga Vasistha. This is series 2018, class number 247. And now Pujya Atman, Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda.
Om Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyaadi Lakshyam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om. Adoration of Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha, Upasham Prakarana, section 84. Using the story of Sage Vasistha, Sage Vasistha is giving profound insight to Rama, leading to enlightenment. Sage Vasistha is gripped by a spiritual addiction. I'm joking. He had nothing else to do. Now, coming to the topic, you have already heard about the practice done by Vitahabhya. Through this story, you are being all of you are being given insight into how to practice jnana, or not just jnana, how to lead your soul to liberation. And of course, the climax is jnana. Jnana is enlightenment, wisdom, not intellectual wisdom, intuitional, a direct revelation. And this entire presentation is extremely allegorical. If you take it literally, you will not be able to follow him. Because he practiced 300 years past. We have only hardly few days. Vitahabhya continued to be immersed in samadhi, enjoying the bliss of samadhi. The sage felt as if only half an hour had passed. Whenever you are given description involving time, it shouldn't be taken literally. Because time, space, causation, all the three are based upon your conditioned mind. And different minds experience time, space, causation in different ways. Enlightened state, you are not dependent, you are not involved with mental projections. So, enlightened state is like revelation of the screen. Unenlightened state, like involvement in a cinema show that goes on the screen. So basic point I want to let you know that it is time, space are illusory in nature. But conditioned mind experiences in different ways. Dream is your illustration. You experience time, space, causation, all the three. But nothing is real in your dream. And again, in allegorical description, when you are leading yourself to profound serenity, it is described as if you are grabbing 100 years, as if you have gone through 100 years. Not with tension, but with such internal peace that 100 years have passed and it doesn't matter to you. That's the simple psychology. You are very happy, time passes. And then you say, why didn't God give me a longer day? We're unhappy, time doesn't pass. It becomes lame, limbs. So, as if you have grabbed what normal people will accomplish in 100 years, you have accomplished it within 20 minutes, within half an hour. But when it is being described, he practiced 100 years past. And people take it literally. But nothing can you gain about it. During this time of these allegorical descriptions, numerous clouds gathered in the sky with thunder, lightning, and torrential rains. How do you describe serenity? The state of serenity in your mind means that even though the world is constantly giving the news of terror, thunder, lightning, earthquake, and virus, pandemic. But in spite of all that, if you are enjoying serenity, you are not disturbed. The sky is not disturbed. No matter whatever may happen, all thunder and lightning. That again is allegorical description. But serenity is to be understood. Living in the same world which people are experiencing in the form of terror, thunder, earthquake, people are experiencing a world of constant change and constant shower of tapas, adversities. In spite of all that, and even the body of the sage belongs to the same world. In spite of that, his deepest revelation, where he is rooted, that is, I am Brahman, Aham Brahmas. But I said it quickly. In this story, the sage is moving progressively towards that goal. Many kings went out into the forests to hunt animals, yet the sage was unaware. That's it, again, allegorical picture. As if sage is there under the tree, it's like a painted picture. So many kings go and shout and lot of crowd behind him. They are going after animals, hunting excursion. And excursion is always a explosion of so much noise. And sage is not disturbed. Just pass very close by, all that's happened. So you don't wait for having the exact condition to prove you are succeeding. All that it implies, the world is always full of chaos, disorder, and all that. But in spite of all that is going on in the world, if you are spiritually advanced, you remain unshaken. The question of being shaken doesn't arise. But while you are practicing, that becomes your objective, how to remain unshaken, how to use your mental process, not lose the positivity of your mind. Adversity, even this will pass away. Adversity, even that will turn into austerity. So therefore your positivity is not being shaken, no matter how things are. Rather it is being encouraged. Challenges are giving you encouragement. Someone says, I have climbed a certain mountain, but now I'm trying to climb a bigger mountain, twice the height of this particular one. The project of climbing another mountain higher, for a weak person, it is a big challenge. But for this person, It is a great opportunity. So that type of internal change in your positive view, internal view which is positive, no matter how things happen in the world. And that's being described, that all the thunder, lightning, torrential rains. But yet the sage remains unconcerned. Kings went out in the forest to hunt animals. Sage was unaware. Cold winters came, followed by fierce hot summers. And yet the sage did not wake up from samadhi. Time and again the birds sang, elephants trumpeted, lions roared, earthquakes rumbled, fires blazed, rivers and streams flooded, but the sage remains unmoved. Lions, birds, etc. More subtle way to understand, they are all together in your personality. Your senses are your horses. This soft insights that begin to enter your mind, they are birds that sing. They ring a bell. When you feel strength of faith, elephants are moving. They have their own challenges. And all your experiences in the world, they relate to dealing with three tapas. Threefold troubles which we have described before: subjective, objective, act of God. Lions, suddenly you develop deep insight and conviction. If it is in the right way, lion is there. Lion roars. And earthquakes. Great transformations occur sometimes. So the world that was so restful for you becomes shaken. Just giving you some samples. On that basis, you need to understand, not to take it all just literal. If you want to take literal, no harm. Look at it always in your TV. You can find always a spot where all this is happening. Year after year, the flood waters brought great quantities of mud into the cave. So much so that with the passage of time, the body of the sage became buried. Year after year, what happens? Dehadhyas, identity with the body, is being attenuated, negated. And so the old concept of your body is viewed as it is buried in muck. You left out your whole body. Understood. Body identity was based on malas. Then, led by his progressive samadhi, he woke up from samadhi and although still buried in the earth, began to recollect his varied experiences while in samadhi. Even though the body identity has not been completely negated, but this much has been understood, that the body is not me. And now his recollections are not based upon your bodily experiences. His recollections are all his mental layers. How did he experience movement from mala to a state where you are dealing with vasanas? How do you experience movement from a state of anger to a state of calmness of your mind, from pride to humility? This type, and what led you? What type of mantra you did? What prayer you did? How did you start, and how it has created a success? You have a whole different story when you deal with your mind in meditation. So those type of memories, those types of recollections now occupied his mind. He recollected how he became a Muni who practiced deep reflection under the Kadamba tree for 100 years. Again, all this is allegorical. Then for another 100 years he existed as a Vidyadhara, a celestial being. For 5 yugas he abode as Indra. The role of Indra is based upon, according to, in this context, any soul that has gone. Indra is not a permanent position. Even Brahma is not permanent position. One Indra goes, another Indra comes. One Brahma goes, another Brahma comes. So, different souls rise to Indra level, and having experienced that level led by the karma, that Indra terminates. Another Indra rises. So for 5 yugas he abode as Indra, ruling the heavenly world. And for a kalpa, many cycles of yugas, he existed as a Shiva Gana, attendant of Lord Shiva. All these are not to be taken literally as well explained, because all the lokas are in your personality. Bhur-loka is the practical reality. Bhuvar-loka is a reality based upon your feelings, sentiments, imaginations. Swara-loka, feeling based upon your understanding. But by understanding, I'm not implying the highest understanding. If you are trapped in the 3 lokas, your understanding is not illumined. It's a misunderstanding. In one way or the other, you are dealing with 3 lokas. Therefore, in sannyasa, you are asked to renounce. Bhuh sanyastam maya, bhuvah sanyastam maya, svah sanyastam maya. But while you are in the 3 lokas, you must realize how many experiences you have gone through. in one single day, so much experience in the relating to physical world. What you ate, whether you digested it or not, the pain that it caused. Poor loka experience. Subjective. What's happened to the politics? Why is so much commotion and so much noise in the world? All this is bhur loka. And we are trapped by bhur loka. But while you are experiencing bhur loka, now and then you drift into swar loka. Or along with it, there is swarloka, which means internally you are dealing with your emotions. Same scene projected in the screen, in your TV. Let me give you a crude illustration. A bear has caught hold of the neck of a deer. You are a bear lover. What a wonderful thing. He got food. Same scene. But now you are going to a different type of bhur-loka, swar-loka. To another person, oh dear, beautiful dear, look, what a cruel thing. Stop this TV. So the same thing you are seeing, but different people have different lokas to experience. So all the descriptions, how he became a Vidyadhara, a celestial being, how he became Indra, he became a Shivagana, all relate to the same thing, different. So now this another person watching the same scene exercises his insight. Now he is working with Shivaganas to understand the subtle skeleton behind the X-ray vision of what you are seeing, a profounder understanding behind. So you are always operating in the three planes, three lokas. And each loka has colorful experiences. And in a single day, in a single hour, you may go through all the three lokas. And if you are advancing, then each loka opens up, each plane becomes a window to the revelation of divine truth. In other words, each level becomes inspiring. Your bhur loka is inspiring you. Bhur loka inspires you. What type of inspiration? To be more intensified in your sadhana for Godward progress. In every level you are being led. All the insight that you gain by dealing with physical objects, the insight becomes, it enables you to develop more vairagya. Same world, which is the basis for your pleasure, is also becomes a basis for building up your insight. How do you develop vairagya? Because of the same world. Sri Rama asked, O sage, how was it possible for the sage to experience different orders of time and space while abiding in the cave of the Vindhya mountains. Sage Vasistha explained, O Rama, time and space are illusory in nature. See how a different order of time and space arises in your dream. It is the conditioned mind that gives reality to a certain order of time and space. How are you experiencing time and space? It depends upon your mind. And mind is conditioned, but conditioned in various ways. All people don't have the same degree of conditioning, different degrees of conditioning of the mind. Not a single person experiences anything other than, in speaking in the realm of ignorance. Everyone is being led by their conditioned mind. No one is exempt from it. And everyone's world is totally different. This being so, it is easy to reconcile the apparent discrepancies in the experiences of the sage. So Vasistha explained that very quickly, that all his descriptions of many yugas, many thousand years, etc., they are like experiencing time, space in a dream. Not to be taken literally. The sage, having acquired numerous experiences through his mental embodiments in the form of Indra, Muni, Vidyadhara, attendant of Shiva, finally he attained enlightenment, and the seeds of his karmas were burnt up by the fire of knowledge. O Rama, from the point of view of an enlightened sage, now we are being given the highest goal, a insight into the goal of life. Point of view of an enlightened sage, there is neither bondage nor release. Brahman alone exists. And since a sage becomes the self of all, there is no fault in saying that he is the experiencer through every being, whether of the past, present, or future. Now try to prepare your mind to understand this point. Simple meaning here is, in enlightenment, in enlightened state, the sage realizes, I am Brahman. But if you are Brahman, then every jiva of the world you are related to. You are the reality behind every soul. Not only behind every soul, behind everything in this world. Every particle of dust is you. Big thing to imagine. But in your dream, Everything of your dream world is you. Roaches, spiders, shower of abuses, shower of praises, all is you. The big enemy coming towards you is you. So, there is a profounder reality. The I in you is no longer restricted to your personality. It is not no longer an ego. And my favorite simile I always give, sun has countless illuminations. Every reflected sun can make an illusion. I am the only one suffering in this pot. But when you discover I am the sun, now your heart understands I am not only in this pot, but in all pots it is I am. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. Therefore may all be led to enlightenment. So that type of goodwill begins to develop and becomes climaxes in the state of enlightenment. And since a sage becomes the self of all, there is no fault in saying that he is the experiencer through every being, whether of the past, present, or future. Try to understand now, this also is a very explosive, as if we are facing a big volcanic eruption. You hear of stories of good people, bad people, demoniac people. The scripture gives you a message. You are that. Good, bad, no matter what. All that you think of the past, every bit is you. All illuminations of the sun, every bit of it is nothing but the sun. O Rama, listen to the wondrous nature of creation. The Indra with which the sage was identified during his samadhi has since passed through many embodiments, and presently he exists as a king in a certain country. All this description is just to give you same type of extension in your imagination. People whom you associated in your previous birth. Now all those people have gone led by their karmas in different, they exist in different forms. I'm just simplifying this instead of going into all the exact detail. Good, bad, and all types of souls, they continue to incarnate, led by their karmas. So one who was an Indra in one stage, led by the soul that has finished his bhoga as Indra, can now be born as a king or another person in the world. In order to attain enlightenment, human embodiment is necessary. That's the subtle meaning behind all that. Section 85. But prior to that, the last statement was, O Rama, countless worlds continue to arise out of Brahman, abide in Brahman, and merge in Brahman. Yet at the same time, since Brahman alone is, nothing arises out of Brahman. So at one stage, you describe all the details of the world. Next stage, you are introduced to countless worlds. Next stage, world within world. Last stage, nothing. Section 85. Revival of the body of Sage Vasistha. Again, this also is highly go through a very graphic picture of his body being completely sunk into the mud, etc. And then overhauling his body. Subtle meaning behind it. As you advance in a spiritual way and as you begin to develop a deeper insight into who am I, the process is progressive. Your identity with the body begins to change. Along with the change, Prakriti in your personality goes on changing. Let me give you more understanding on that. Simple point I have explained before. If you are happy, positive, the nature in you, the pranas, your nervous system, all that are impacted by your positive view. The moment you are happy, face begins to suddenly change from a stress to joyousness. Even your eyes begin to speak of a change. Ears perk up. A special shine comes before your face. Prakriti has changed. So as if that Prakriti that was in muck is no longer in muck. Prakriti has been saved, changed. So that type of change goes on happening. That's the subtle meaning behind this description. But let me give you the description as it is brought, as it is presented. O Rama, during his inward reflection, Sage Vasistha mentally became an attendant of Lord Shiva. As a Shivagana, he developed the wish to know his past embodiments. As his vision swept over his numerous embodiments, he became aware of the fact that as Vasistha, his body was buried deep in the earth. Then led by his fructifying karma, Sage Vasistha determined to revive the body. Without going into details, just your body is your sense of identity. But without going into that detail, even your physical body undergoes changes. Prakriti that flows through your physical body changes. So, the type of body that was giving you all types of negative experience, that type of body begins to change. That's one way of change in your Prakriti. Another, a deeper change in Prakriti that goes to constitute your subtle body, mind, intellect, senses. That Prakriti also goes on changing. And moving from negative state to a positive state is just like trying to recover a person who is sinking in mud and in a very miserable predicament, taking him out of the muck, cleaning him up, giving him some miraculous medicine, and now he shines. So I'm escaping those distracting details. The body of the sage was brought up and out of the layers of mud and grass, much in the same manner as a lotus emerges from a muddy lake. Here it gives you a good allegorical statement. Same mud turns into beautiful lotus. To a kid, you will explain that the lotus came out of the mud. It was sinking in the mud. But now look, God has brought it out. Freed the lotus of the mud. And the mud is a different thing and lotus is a different thing. The sage entered a river and cleansed his body and then performed worship of the sun god. And passing the day by the banks of a river in a valley of the Himalayan mountains, rather Vindhya mountains, he engaged himself in the practice of inward reflection. He was devoid of all attachments and was decked with all divine qualities. So when you have come out of the mud of body identity, now what's the description? Devoid of attachment, sangarahit. You have developed internal detachment from the world, anasakti. But as anasakti has developed, you are decked with all divine qualities, all virtuous qualities. Simple point to understand that as your body identity begins to diminish, you begin to experience a divine type of body emerging within you. That body is spotless, asangarahit. And it is so beautifully adorned from head to the toes. Peacock feathers on the head. It's all virtuous qualities. Coming to next section, 86. Characteristics of Jivan Mukti. Sage Vasistha continued. As evening approached, Sage Vasistha entered a cave of the Himalaya, of the Vindhya mountains, and adopted a meditative pose. He began to reflect within himself. This setting is all allegorical. Only point he is being given the description of the characteristics of Sthita Prajna, just like Gita has done in second chapter. But it is described as if the sage is talking to himself what he has accomplished. I have already renounced the senses. People live in a world that is experienced by the senses. That's called awake. But the world in which people are awake, to that world, sage is as if in sleep. What have I to do with the objects of the world? I am like the ever-risen sun. There is neither existence nor non-existence for me, who is the self. Everyone is always involved in dealing with two things: existence of things that you like, non-existence of things that you don't like. And even if you like something, it is subject to two experiences. It exists and suddenly somebody has taken that away. So the mind is constantly dealing with how to get something, how to sustain it, how to prevent being lost, gain and loss. But that is the world to which people are awake, led by this mind and senses. Though sleeping, I am awake. Now to that world a sage sleeps. But don't take it literally, he is not asleep, he is really awake. Though dead to the world, I am eternally alive. I am ever established in Turiya. Turiya is the fourth step. A-U-M and transcendental. A is your physical world. U, your subtle. M, causal. Both ways, subjectively, objectively. Vishwa and Virat. Tejas and Hiranyagarbha. Prajna and Ishvara. Transcending all is Brahman. I am ever established in Turiya, wherein the three states of waking, dream and deep sleep are transcended. Thus reflecting, Sage Vasistha passed 6 days and nights. Again, this also is allegorical. Past few moments. And then, coming back to normal consciousness, passed his days in the spirit of enlightenment. He did not praise any object, nor did he have any reason to condemn any object. He is free of ninda and stuti. Ninda, blaming. Stuti, praising. And nothing to blame, nothing to praise. Devoid of attachment and hatred. he was ever free from elation and depression, and therefore no more subject to harsh vishad, harsh elation. Elation is a form of commotion. Vishad is another form of commotion. And with this I'm going to conclude. This will go on and on. Om Shri Ramaya Namah. Om Shri Ramaya Namah. Om Ram 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 Ram. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om. And we are offering special prayer for Shri Vimal Marathes, Shri Ram's mother. And may God enfold the departed soul. This annual Shraddha and Shraddha ceremony. And my prayer is in intensifying that goal of life. May her soul be led to bhakti and mukti. Om. And prayer for all people all over the world are suffering from this terror of the virus. May God give sanmati. Sanmati must gain in your heart like a flame of light. Enabling every soul to become rid of mrityu virus, mortality virus. If you are not rid of that, then virus after virus. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukam Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat.
Are there any questions for Swamiji?
Okay, continue.
Wait, there's one.
Ram Gurudev, Gurudev, you mentioned that countless worlds arise from Brahman and Brahman alone is, and nothing arose from Brahman. So this paradoxical kind of statement, how can that help us in our spiritual practice?
If someone tells you there are countless things arise in your dream, but none of them is real, how does it help you? It helps you to understand that even though while dreaming everything was perfectly normal for you, in the same way everything is normal for you, dealing with your problems, doing your job, going after so many things, and you have vast world. But just like your dream was not real, why can't you understand all this world you are experiencing is a magical power of your brain and nervous system? One little hit in your brain, all this world will be out. So, will you stay in this world? How long can you stay with your nervous system? So this type of understanding is not meant to make a person feel miserable, but to make a person understand the highest goal of life. Does it give you any idea? Yeah.
And we conclude. Swamiji will continue Yoga Vasishta tomorrow night at 7:30.